The CM Storm SF17 uses a massive 18cm fan to cool your gaming notebook, and it adds a 4-port USB hub. Click now to learn more.
Alright guys, before we get started, if you're not entirely sure what anti-aliasing is, either click here or open up a new tab to check out Linus's video on anti-aliasing, and he can explain everything about it. If you do know what anti-aliasing is, let's move on to downsampling. Downsampling, or more properly known as ordered grid supersampling anti-aliasing, or OGSSAA for short, or how Linus likes to call it, original gangster SSAA, is the effect of utilizing your GPU's power to render an image at a higher resolution than your monitor is capable of displaying, and then having it rescale that image to the native resolution of your monitor. Instead of just rendering the edges of polygons at a higher resolution like some other anti-aliasing solutions, this solution is rendering everything at a higher resolution all of the time, which makes your game look great, but it's incredibly inefficient at the same time compared to traditional AA solutions. So if it's that inefficient, why do it? Well, the main reason that I have is that sometimes a game is released that doesn't have AA options, or maybe just an on-off switch, which does something. These options lacking games are usually crappy console ports, and the enthusiasts like us demand more. So OGSSAA is our solution to force our own AA into the game, effectively doing the developer's job for them and making it look better with the sacrifice of a little bit of FPS. But why wouldn't you simply force AA through the driver, you ask? Well, this doesn't always work, and even though it usually will work, it may not be enough anti-aliasing for you, and if you have the extra horsepower, you may as well apply it. Speaking of extra horsepower, you can mix OGSSAA with other types of AA, so whether or not you're injecting AA or if the game supports different types, you can run those different types alongside OGSSAA or downsampling to get a great experience of your game. This is mostly tuned, in my opinion, to older games that your PC would traditionally be able to run without even really trying. Now you can throw a bunch of stuff at it, make it a little bit harder for your PC to run, but then get a great visual experience out of the game. I'd like to thank a few people. First off, TabooBurn from the Linus Tech Tips forums for making a thread about this and making us realize that we should probably make a video about it. Then next up is NeoGAF's Corky, who created an amazingly simple and very detailed guide for NVIDIA users and able to do downsampling. Over on Guru3D's forums, Black Zero also created an awesome guide for AMD users. Thank all of you guys for making this possible, and everybody, if you're wondering how to do this, please follow a link below this video to our forum where you can find TabooBurn's post, and you can find links there to Corky and Black Zero's post so you can get detailed information whether or not you're an NVIDIA or AMD user. This video will focus on the solution for NVIDIA users. This is because of how ghetto and broken the AMD solution actually is. That being said, if you're an AMD user and you're interested in doing this, feel free to click on the link in the description below, which will take you to TabooBurn's post, which will take you over to the forum, where Black Zero has a post on Guru3D, which you can follow and try this out for yourself. If AMD had a stable and in-driver solution, we would have been happy to include them in this video as well. For this guide, we'll be using Windows 7. Just a heads up to users for Windows 8 and 8.1, it may not be 100% stable, but you'll probably be fine, so just continue along and I wouldn't worry too much about it. Also for this guide, we will be using a GTX 780 Ti, because it's super strong and we can show you a ton of different setups and not worry too much about performance. You don't need a 780 Ti to be able to do this at all. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Another reason why we're using this card though is because the modern cards seem to minimize compatibility headaches and other issues along the way that older cards may have. Alright guys, on the forum, please post what operating system you're using, what monitor you're using, and what graphics cards you're using, and what your results were, so that we can get a little bit of a database going on of what works. For me personally, my PA248Q, both of them were not able to go above 2560 by 1600, but my LGA 29UM65 in the office was able to easily downsample a 4K signal, so I'd love to see what you guys are able to do.
Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to want to do is go into the NVIDIA control panel by right-clicking on our desktop and then selecting NVIDIA control panel. Once inside, we're going to click on Adjust Desktop Size and Position. Make sure the checkbox is selected for Override the Scaling Mode set by Games and Programs, and then click Apply. Next, under Display, you'll select Change Resolution. Click Customize. Select Enable Resolutions Not Exposed by the Display. Click Create Custom Resolution. Under Horizontal Pixels, type in 2560, and under Vertical Lines, type in 1440, and then click Test. Hopefully it was successful. Click Yes to save that resolution. if the test worked, your screen will go black for a second, and then it'll show in the crazy resolution, and then it'll show up in this list. If 2560 by 1440p was successful for you, and you're feeling a little bit ambitious, we can go on and try and create a 4K 16 by 9 resolution. So under horizontal pixels, you're going to want to type in 3840, and then under vertical lines, you're going to want to type in 2160. Then click test, and hopefully it works. Save that resolution as well if it did work for you. Then that'll add that to the list as well. If you're stuck on a certain resolution and you want to push it further and you're being quite adventurous, don't worry, there's still some stuff you can do, but they're quite advanced and very setup specific. So please check out Corky's thread on NeoGAF and post on our forum with the different things that you try out. There are some manual settings you can key in, but they're pretty finicky, so it'll take some playing around. Good luck!
So in terms of performance, it seems like in Crysis 3 at least, downsampling from 2560 by 1440p down to 1080p was about the same as running 1080p with 8x MSAA on. And visually, they look pretty comparable as well. We're going to show some shots here, but I highly suggest going to the forum and viewing them there, as YouTube's going to have compression and it's not really going to look right. So check them out on the forum without compression, maybe download them yourselves. And again, post screenshots of yourself trying this out, maybe in different combinations and all that kind of stuff, to the forum so we can get a little bit of a database going on what looks good and what different setups work. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you want to tell me what you guys think about this kind of experimenty style video, post that in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like or maybe even dislike the video and subscribe. If you want to
do all other kinds of things while you're down there, woo!
If you guys want to put input into you trying out downsampling, don't forget to put that on the forum as well. And while you're there, if you don't like the ads on the forum, be sure to contribute. At any contribution level, you get rid of all the ads on the forum. And if you guys want a Linus Tech Tips shirt, be sure to check out District Lines. There's a link in the description. You can get those there. We've got some really cool stuff coming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.